20.
Someone finally retired, Drew Brees. And with that, we kind of all expected it. He kind of waited a while and held everyone on for a little bit, but he officially did retire. And that same couple days after, we had Taysom Hill signing $100 million extension. We all know it's actually just like a 1-year extension. And Jameis Winston also re-signed with the Saints. So the Saints kept the 2 backup quarterbacks that they had last year. Who's the starter, guys? Are we buying either of them? Do we expect much?
I mean, whoever starts, I think, is going to be very fantasy relevant. Sean Payton's a great offensive coach, and we've seen over the past 2 years, whenever someone's had to fill in for Breeze, they've been pretty good. Taysom Hill was a good fantasy QB last year in the games he started. Jameis Winston has just throughout his career been a good fantasy QB. So whoever's going to start, I like a lot, but the problem with trying to buy one of them is you have no idea who's going to end up being the starter. If I had to guess, I think Jameis beats him in a training camp battle if you told me to just pick, but who knows? Like it's hard to guess. Like you're taking a chance buying either one, which you probably get them cheaper now than when they're named starter, but it's a risk.
Frank, you have Jameis in our league. Are you selling him, or are you just gonna diamond hands us through training camp and everything? Well, what's the plan?
Dude, I have no idea. Like, I've just been holding Jameis because ever since he was in Tampa Bay, I was just thinking to myself, what's the point of selling? Maybe if I can get a late second, but even then, is it really even worth it? I think it was last year, but I think the problem with Jameis owners right now is that his value, while it has gone up, definitely, it hasn't really gone up enough to warrant a sell if you've held, especially if you're not insanely strong at quarterback. I mean, and if you were insanely strong at quarterback, you probably would have sold earlier. So I think the conundrum that I'm having with Jameis is, okay, I might have been able to get a late second before. Now I know I can get a late second, but is it worth for me to now get that late second after I've held for an entire year, like a year and a half? You know, it's just, is it worth it at that point? So I honestly have no idea. I think I am gonna hold just because, at least for my team in the league that you guys are talking about, I have so many second round picks that I don't really need any more. Maybe, unless I'm really an addict for the second round. Maybe I'll get some more, but if you're to ask me, though, who I really think is going to be the starter, I think it's Taysom Hill. Like, even as a Jameis owner, I think that it's Taysom Hill. I think that Taysom Hill offers me a little bit more consistency. While Jameis does have the higher ceiling, Sean Payton has proven he's able to work with basically any quarterback, and I think that in that offense, Taysom Hill offers me a little bit more of that high floor, that consistency that I'm looking for.
That's surprising. So you think in a training camp battle, Taysom Hill would beat Jameis?
Dude, to be honest, like, I didn't believe in Taysom Hill, but then I did that film analysis. It's on the channel if you're interested, and he surprised me. I mean, he's not perfect. He has a ton of room to go, and Jameis is a better pure passer. It's just, I think with a small bit of development from Taysom Hill, he could be not as good as Jameis as a pure passer, but it's not just about how good you are at throwing the football. Like, if he gets a little bit better at throwing the football, I think he's just better at playing quarterback. Whereas Jameis, it's the other way around. He's got everything you need as a passer. You need to hone those skills. I just don't think that Jameis is going to be able to do that. That's the only problem. I think it's harder as a coach for you to take someone and say, okay, just be better at the mental aspect of the game, rather than, hey, Taysom Hill, just develop a throw. You know, you just need to develop one throw and a little bit of touch in your football, which I think is a lot more reasonable. And then all of a sudden I have a less ceiling quarterback, but I've got a quarterback that I really think, as a coach, from a coach's perspective, not fantasy football, he wins me more games consistently.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree on this one. I'm eating all the W's. I'm on the Jameis bandwagon. Like you said, he has all the talent in the world. You know, the guy can launch the ball all the way down the field. He's a gunslinger. And I think, playing with, Bruce Arians in that system didn't do him any favors. I think being a year behind Drew Brees, learn behind a Hall of Fame quarterback for a full year, learn from Sean Payton for a full year. Sean Payton brought him back for a reason. You don't just bring back Jameis for no reason here. If you saw him all year in practice, every day, and you thought he stunk, you're not bringing him back. So I think they brought him back for a reason. I think he's going to be the starting quarterback. I think they really like Taysom Hill in that, do everything role where he could play special teams, he could play tight end. He'll play quarterback, I guarantee you. He'll play some snaps at quarterback. But I think the starting quarterback will be Jameis Winston, and he's going to have a good year, I think. I really do. But I agree. I think it's with Frank here. I just think it's going to be hard to buy him because the owner that has him probably isn't going to want to sell, especially with the Brees retiring news. And you're not going to want to give up that much knowing that Taysom Hill could be there in the starting role.
Okay, real quick, just one-word answers so that we can give some advice to the Jameis and Taysom Hill owners. Frank, if you own Jameis, buy, sell, or hold, or no, Jameis is a buy, sell, or hold, Taysom Hill is a buy, sell, or hold, which one for each?
I think the first thing is it does depend on the price. Jameis, I think, is, to me, more of a sell. I think Taysom is more of a buy.
I'll hijack this.
JT, go ahead.
I'm going to hijack this real quick, Lounis, right? So, first off, one thing. I just want to address one thing before we move on. Jake, if you're serious about eating W's and Jameis Winston, you'd eat a W right now on camera. Otherwise, I don't believe anything you say. Now, otherwise, oh, he did.
Hey, he ate the W.
That's an Instagram clip.
Take that, JT.
Next, so, Frank, you're the Jameis Winston owner in our league, right? You have Jameis Winston on your team. Rather than do a buy, sell, hold on Jameis, right? You did a breakdown on the YouTube about the rookie quarterbacks, and someone that you're much higher on than most other people is Kellen Mond. So say come draft day, I come knocking, and I've got the pick right there. Kellen Mond is available at the board. Let's just say it's pick 204.
Did you just knock on the table?
Oh,
That's what I'm laughing at.
Oh, yeah, pick 204, Frank. Are you selling Jameis for Kellen Mond, straight up?
I am smash accepting, JT. I will break my phone accepting that deal.
Oh my god.
All right. So we know where.
So that's what? Kellen Mond's probably what? Going to be a mid-second? I mean, he might rise if he goes late first in the real NFL draft.
So currently, in the consensus, the consensus rankings or whatever, he's going late third, but this is
a crime.
It's going to rise. It's going to rise once the actual draft happens.
Frank's very high on he's one of the early boarders on the Kellen Mond hype train. I'm just going to stand there and get run over by it because I'm just not getting bored. I won't be drafting.
Just look at the tape, man. Just look at the tape. The
listen,
tape never lies.
Listen. I'm on the train. Frank's just in like the first cart. I'm in like
Frank's
the
conductor.
I'm the conductor.
Frank's like, all aboard!
Yeah, Frank's pulling. I'm just like sitting in one of the seats. I'm not putting him ahead of Trey Lance, but I like him.
Kellen Mond's friends and family, and then Frank right there.
Dude, I'd argue Frank, then the friends and family.
Yeah, maybe.